Center 27.
Good evening. A tanker truck full of gasoline was involved in a fiery explosion in northern Lexington earlier today.
Mike Berry was the quintessential 1970s anchorman.
I don't know whoever said that turtles were slow, but I sure don't believe him.
He looked the part, sounded the part, but the truth is, behind that polished image, his life was unraveling.
Alcohol had become the dominant force in my life. Everything centered around alcohol. News stories. When can I stop by and get a drink on the way back?
For more than 20 years, he was the face of Lexington local news.
And then for me, I'd see the billboards in town with my picture on them and the anchor team. And there's a picture, an image that they're showing, but I knew on the inside, that's not me. I don't feel that way. I was in misery.
Berry was also an alcoholic.
They had told me more than once, you need to do something about that problem. And they'd whisper it. And I would say, what problem? I have remained good friends with a lot of the people I worked with in the past. And some of them said, yeah, we knew, but we didn't know what to say. And some others who would say, I had absolutely no idea.
After several years, the problem started to become more apparent.
Were you ever drunk on the air or drunk doing a story or so
well,
hungover?
Yeah,
how was it like?
I don't know. Probably a combination of both.
Relationships with his wife and children suffered, and at work,
I could no longer function and lost the job basically due to alcohol.
But it was still a long road ahead before Berry would get sober. One weekend, he packed his bags and decided to go to South Carolina without telling a soul.
That's part of the story that everybody knows, that the police were searching for me. They were searching dumpsters. It was on all the newscasts and the newspapers. Big disappearance, and all I did was like a little kid. I ran away from home.
But a chance meeting during that trip changed his life and landed Berry in Louisville.
He sort of conned me into coming to Louisville. He told me, he said, there's a new place opening up called The Healing Place. And he said, they could really use your help. So I thought I was going there for a job. I wasn't. I was going there as a client.
Berry was in treatment, but still felt like he should be able to beat his addiction on his own. That is, until he relapsed time and time again, and eventually hit rock bottom.
When did you surrender? Do you remember
October
these circumstances?
October 7th of 1994 at 2 a.m. in the morning.
He was locked in his apartment with the intent of drinking himself to death.
So I hit that point where I don't want to live, I don't want to die, I don't want to drink, but I don't want to be sober. Now what do you do? It took me 2 or 3 days to get out of that apartment, but I went back to the healing place and said, I'm done.
Today, Mike Berry is sober. His driving passion is to help others find a way to become addiction-free. He's the CEO of the nonprofit People Advocating Recovery.
To show people that there is hope, there is help, and there is healing, and people can and do recover.
There are now 7,000 members and 6 chapters formed in Kentucky. He shares his personal story to recovery groups around the country, proving that you can weather the storm and that turning your life around is possible.
We want to make sure people understand there is a way out.